evening we are going to get into the NBA. I'm shocked this is the first time we've talked about this because this has been going on for a while, but it seems to have gotten louder.
Yeah,
And
it is.
I feel somewhat vindicated that it's getting louder because we've been saying this for months.
Mhm.
But Anthony Edwards was recently fined by Joe Dumars in the NBA for criticizing referees. But the way that the internet took this, they took it in the direction of further talking about the NBA's declining popularity and how the NBA is focusing on finding players when they should be focusing on how to fix the league because right now it's broken and it's declining in ratings and it's declining in popularity and so on and so forth. Y'all sitting around finding Anthony Edwards, you need to fix the referees and fix your sport. So we'll go ahead and opine on this for a little bit. So Anthony Edwards, I think the amount was 25 G's he was fined. 75. So he was fined
Sheesh.
75,000 by the NBA for criticizing referees after they recently lost to the Warriors. So this says ratings down even more. NBA fans outraged over Anthony Edwards' $75,000 fine amid league's ratings slump. Minnesota Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards was fined $75,000 on Monday by the NBA for his public criticism of the officiating. The All-Star guard aired out his frustration on Saturday in front of reporters following a 113-103 loss to the Warriors. Joe Dumars, the NBA's executive vice president and head of basketball operations and a Hall of Fame guard for the Pistons, made the announcement. The fine also includes Edwards' use of inappropriate and profane language. So there is the communication from the NBA there talking about him being fined. The article goes on to say, following the report, fans talked about how the fine would affect the league's declining ratings. Ratings going down even more, a fan said. And you wonder why your ratings are down, another fan said. League's in a bad state right now, can't even lie, one fan said. Other fans criticized the league for not punishing referees for mistakes. It amazes me that the officials are never fined or disciplined when they screw up. The fact that players get fined for expressing their opinion is outrageous. Another fan had the players' backs. Soft ass league, F out of here. Let the players speak or fix yours. Shitty refs, one fan commented. Anthony Edwards was upset in the locker room after the loss to the Warriors. He didn't hold back as he talked about the inconsistencies with the calls made by the referees during the game. So I'm not going to read all that because we're going to play the clip of what Edwards had to say. So here is said clip of Anthony Edwards complaining about the referees.
They're fucking terrible.
Facts, bro.
They're fucking terrible. Yeah, all of them. Besides the woman. Yeah, but the other two dudes, terrible. Excuses, the reason they call a foul, the reason they don't call a foul, the shit was terrible. They don't want to talk back to my coach. They don't want to talk back to me. I said one thing to the referee. He gave me a text. Motherfucker told one of my teammates, if I would have said y'all calling the bad foul, he wouldn't have gave me a text. Niggas, they just sensitive and they terrible. They never give us the they penalize me and Drew for being stronger than our opponent every night. Don't get no calls. So yeah, that's how I feel about the officials. Every game that we play.
Did the frustration of that carry over like in the game?
No.
Just not let it.
No, I don't care. I mean, it's just hard that everybody keeps saying play through it. It's easy to say that when you're not dealing with it. Right? So that's what's frustrating.
So you think that's a thing that's been consistent all year, not just tonight?
Hell yeah, it's been consistent all year, but tonight was bad. They was getting ticky-tack fouls and we weren't getting nothing. So that's just how I feel about the officials. The two dudes, not the woman. Yeah.
Do you feel like the frustration has that impacted the way you attack? Like I know they are often guys, like they're sending extra help and stuff. It does seem like sometimes you're not going as much as like you otherwise would.
Yeah, and that's why. Shit, because I get penalized for being stronger than my opponent. So they get them the benefit of the doubt. I get the same. They bump me the same way they bump everybody else, and I never get the call. So I don't know what got to go down, but something got to happen because that shit's terrible.
There you go.
Hey, man.
So he unloaded on the referees. Although the Wolves had 25 free throw attempts, which is close to the Warriors' 23, Edwards felt they didn't have a fair shot in getting fouls. Even during the fourth quarter, the attempts both teams had were close. Minnesota had 11 and Golden State had 10. So I think that's the end of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what do you think about that? So people on the internet attributed the refereeing, deficiencies to as further evidence of why the league is floundering. And then Edwards wasn't going that far. He was just complaining about the referees in general. But what do you think? Do you think we've talked about this, so I know you concur with the idea that the league is getting worse. But do you tie it into the referees the way the people on the internet did, or
I mean,
or
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Adam Silver has his faults in this too because of the goofy stuff that he allows. But at the same time, he also is the one who's giving instructions to these referees. And so these referees, the way that they call these games it makes the game unwatchable. I remember at the beginning of this season, bro, I was just trying to watch games, you know what I'm saying, just for the love of the game, hoping that these guys cleaned up their act. And the guys were out there playing, but the referees was out there controlling the game. Tic-tac fouls for one team and not the other, calling every damn thing, slowing the game down, more free throws for no reason, guys acting, selling calls. It's the same garbage. And I don't want to see that. The game has devolved into three-point shooting, trying to get fouls to go to the line and miss 3-point shots. It's just that now. It's free throws and threes. All kinds of traveling. I mean, the game is just a mess. And so for Anthony Edwards, for his frustration now, I felt that. You know what I'm saying? Especially the part where he was saying that, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, people, it's easy for people to say, hey, just play through it. You know what I'm saying? But when you're going through it night after night, where tonight's the referee said, y'all gonna lose. That's frustrating, man. Especially when you go through all this work, practice, prep, did all of this stuff, and you go out there and now the ref said, nah, you losing tonight. This is like sometimes, man, you know what I'm saying? Whenever I used to play NCAA, the video game, and, script wise, the game was like, you're going to lose to this team, or you're going to throw an interception on this game. We're going to make you throw it. I'm like, oh, no, not today. And then they'll do something weird, crazy stuff to make me throw an interception, or, you know what I'm saying, make the game closer than it had to be. And it's in the computer. It's an algorithm. You know what I'm saying? And they did that to me. And it's the same way. And it's frustrating. Because it's like, why are you doing that? Well, just because. And so the NBA with its sports betting, the NBA with its other stuff that it's got going on, they've got interests beyond what the viewers know. And I feel like the referees go out there and they execute it. So, these little one games here, one game there, nobody really notices it. They just look at the box score. But, I'm pretty sure, those 25 fouls that the Timberwolves got, is like this, who knows. But those 25 free throws that they got, you can look at it. And there was probably some fouls that the Warriors got where you can go, yeah, I can see why he's complaining about that. So all in all, man, I really think that the referees need to change how they approach the game. I feel like as though they allow it's too much traveling. I don't like all this traveling. It's all these extra steps. I hate it. It's stupid. I don't even know what I'm looking at sometimes when these guys are doing it, because I'm yelling at the TV that's a travel, but the refs are looking dead at them and letting it go. These tic-tac fouls for one team and not the other. I'm over that. And I think they just need to call it more down the line. And NCAA referees, they still have their collusion moments, but they allow more contact, more physicality. And that's why college basketball is more fun to watch to me right now, which was never the case.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd rather watch a college basketball game than an NBA game, because I know I'm going to see better basketball than what I would watch in the NBA.
Wow.
So yeah, man, it has gotten that bad. But what are your thoughts, man, on Anthony Edwards out here chewing out the refs? And then, the everyday viewer, users of X and all these other platforms, basically saying that, hey man, this is why the ratings are going down. Do you agree with the people? You agree with Ant? What's going on?
I agree with Ant complaining about the refs. I feel him on being penalized for being bigger or stronger or more physical. I've always had a problem with that. As a person who had a more athletic game himself when I played, I got fouled constantly because I was always faster and more athletic than my defender. But whenever I would call it, I would hear stuff like, "Bro, you too big to be calling that. You too athletic to be calling that." And I always said, I don't give a damn how big I am. Become a better defender, because if you foul me, I'm going to call it. You don't just get to foul me with impunity because I'm bigger than you. Switch and put somebody else on me, or get better at defense. But I'm not going to sit here and take the fouls just because I'm bigger than you. That's ridiculous. So I feel him on that. People like Shaq used to complain about that. Like, Shaq is bigger than everybody else. So Shaq is getting pounded and doesn't get nearly as many free throw attempts as he should because the refs are like, well, he's big and he's Shaq. I don't care. Below the damn whistle, he's getting fouled. And as much as I don't like LeBron, I got to give it to him. You know, when LeBron was in his prime, freight training his way to the basket, a lot of times he'd be getting beat up. Refs don't blow the whistle because he's bigger and stronger and more athletic than everybody else on the court. So it's like he had to just eat it, which is, to me, was silly. Call the damn foul. So I feel Ant on that for sure. Referees need to do better with that kind of stuff. Don't penalize somebody because they're bigger and more physical. That should be on the coaches of the opposing team to figure out a better defensive game plan to account for that, because that is what competition is. Don't just sit there and allow the referees to bail you out of it because the culture of the calling of the calls is they're big, so we just let stuff go. I don't like that. But I don't think referees are the reason why the league is getting worse, because in my opinion, there's always been incompetent officiating in the NBA. That's been a constant throughout my entire life of watching the NBA. There's always been bad refereeing, bad officiating, bad calls, weird calls, phantom calls, charge block. What the hell is the difference? They're outside of the restricted area, but they're calling this a block when it looks exactly like this. And it was also outside the restricted area, so that's a charge. Weird stuff like that has always been going on. So I don't think that's why the league is getting worse. I think the league is getting worse because of lack of balance. Shouts out to Brian Windhorst, who brought this point up. And shouts out to Cowherd, who gave a good example. I was watching Cowherd's show one day, and he was talking about this. And he said, imagine if the NFL rules created an environment in which every team was either throwing 60-yard bombs or doing tush pushes. How watchable would that be? No one wants to watch an NFL game where every team is either doing the tush push or throwing 70-yard bombs. It's unwatchable. So in the NFL, you still have the intermediate passing game and the run game. It gives you a balance in terms of how the game is played and how it's represented. Thus, it is more watchable. And it's also more competitive. And Cowherd's like, what's missing in the Windhorst said this, but what Cowherd's example alluded to was the game's lack of balance. You're either doing the dunks or the threes. You've removed the intermediate game from the equation because the analytics have told you to do so. So it makes the game more unwatchable from a fan's perspective. And it takes some of the strategy out of the game because essentially it's an arms race to see who's going to shoot the most threes. I don't really need to watch a game to know which team won the game. If I look at the box score and see three-pointers made, whichever team has the most won the game. Even if they shot a worse percentage, if they made more, they probably won the game. I don't think that's good for the game, personally, in my opinion. And people have hit themselves to that. That's what they got going on, and they don't like it. You look at a guy like Anthony Edwards. I looked up Anthony Edwards, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on that's killing the NBA right now. So the three-pointers is one aspect of it. And as an extension of that, you have people like Anthony Edwards, who the media was telling me 2 years ago was Michael Jordan-esque. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so you got these idiots in the media calling him Jordan in terms of the way his game is constructed, but the dude is currently attempting 10 threes per game. He's not getting to the rim. He's not going to the basket. You complain about referees not calling calls for you. You take 10 threes a game, bro.
Mm-hmm.
There's no balance in your game. Like over the last couple of years, you have been responsible for some of the coolest highlights I've seen in the league. Dunking on people, going ham, super above the rim. He had one play where he drove baseline and dunked it, leaning in. Damn near his old arm was in the rim, like Vince Carter in the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people want to see more of that, not less. And you're diminishing your own game by removing that from the equation because you feel like you need to shoot more threes. I don't think anyone is telling him to shoot 10 threes a game. He's doing that because he feels like that makes him a better player. 10 threes a game to perhaps the most athletic guard in the league currently. You got other people like John Morant who literally said, I'm not dunking anymore. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Like earlier this year, he said to the media, I'm done dunking. So when you have premier players saying stuff like that and playing that way, it leads to a diminished product. Couple that with people like Zion Williamson, who can't get on the court despite how highly touted he was. He can't even get on the court. He can't play the games because he can't get his body to hold up. On top of that, you have these weird talking points. It's the last thing that I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up as a kid, I watched the NBA year round. It was the league I followed the most. It was the most excited. Like basketball and boxing were my two favorite sports. I've said that before. There was nothing more exciting to me than a marquee NBA game during the regular season and a pay-per-view boxing event. That was the most excited I got watching sports growing up. The NBA during the regular season meant something. It meant something. You couldn't just cast away the NBA until the playoffs started.
Mm-hmm.
But I started hearing these weird talking points in these debate shows and on these pundit shows. I started hearing weird stuff like no one watches the NBA before Christmas and nothing matters until the playoffs. And it doesn't matter. Nothing matters until what you do in the playoffs. No one watches the league before Christmas time. We'll see what happens in the NBA after the All-Star break. So when you hear that kind of stuff over and over again, perpetuated in the media, I feel like the league followed suit. And they basically relegated themselves to second fiddle. Oh, we'll just let the NFL have it, and we'll just wait until Christmas. That's our day.
Mm-hmm.
And now Christmas ain't even your day. The NFL done took that.
And took it.
They took it. They took it. The NFL killed the NBA last year on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA, that used to be the marquee day, Christmas, NBA. NFL done took that too. So y'all have allowed the media to perpetuate the idea that no one should pay attention to you until Christmas time. And even after Christmas time, now we can go back in our holes until the All-Star break. And once the Super Bowl is over and after the All-Star break, now we pay attention to the NBA. So all of these things, in my opinion, have contributed to why the NBA now is floundering.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one thing. It's a lot of things going on concurrently. These weird old talking points about when people should pay attention, the threes, and the players themselves capitulating to this culture. Marquee players with all the athleticism in the world deciding that they don't want to take advantage of it. They'd rather attempt 10 threes a game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the way that the game is played, there's no balance in it. The balance is removed from the equation. And the media has harped on to this stuff about when we should be watching and paying attention. Who decided that? All of my friends who like the NBA growing up, our buddies, we were excited opening night and we watched almost every game from the beginning to the end. It didn't matter whether it was before or after Christmas. Where did this crap come from? And you allowed them to say this about your game. And so now this is what you get. And I didn't even get into players sitting out games. I didn't even get to that. I just got to this other stuff first. So I don't think it's the refs. I think the refs are a component, but to me, there's always been incompetent officiating. That's always been a constant. But you got all of this other weird stuff going on, and that's what to me has contributed to it. And I don't know if they can fix it. I've heard all sorts of weird ideas about eliminating the corner three, making the field goals 4 points and 3 points instead of 2 points and 3 points, because then there's an increased premium on, well, there's less of a premium rather on the three ball, because the percentage increase in points that you gain from taking the three goes away by making it 4s and 3s versus 3s and 2s. So I've heard all kinds of shenanigery in terms of what can fix it. But it's a larger thing. Players have to care more. They have to accept the responsibility of championing the league and not essentially deprioritizing the regular season. Jimmy Butler, there's just a lot going on, but it's not just the refs is my point. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of blame to go around the NBA, the media, the players themselves, the way the game is played. It's all just remove the balance from it, and that's what I think is screwing it up.
Now, I see that, and I think mine's, because I agree with that, because it's a whole concert of stuff that's going wrong, and I blame Adam Silver. I put all the blame on his shoulders for being a reactionary person versus somebody that is a visionary. Like his visionary stuff of doing an in-season tournament was a reaction to those talking points that you mentioned, that the games don't start until after All-Star break.
Correct. Yeah.
And so him doing the whole, MVPs and stuff like that, or whatever, they're not going to get in unless they play 65 games. That's a reaction to players sitting out. And so the way that this league is being run right now is so reactionary to whatever the players are doing, because the players are just following. There's a culture going on in the NBA that's entitled, for sure. You know what I'm saying? And so there's entitled players. Then there's referees, because the referees are an extension of the commissioner. And so I agree with you. Those Heat series with the Knicks back in the 90s, bro, there was a lot of collusion going on in there, man. You know what I'm saying? PJ Brown in there trying to draw a charge, and they calling it a blocking foul. You know what I'm saying? But here comes Patrick Ewing doing the same damn thing, and he's getting the call. And so, that used to drive me up the wall, bro. I hated that stuff too. But those were still very competitive games. You know what I'm saying? Even though all that crap was going on. So, yes, bad officiating has always been around. I would agree with that. But my thing is with the officiating, it's not so much they're officiating and making bad calls. It's what they're allowing in the game now. And so this is the part where they're an extension of the commissioner, where he even said it himself that he allows certain things to go on in the league to let smaller guys compete more.
Yeah.
So they could show more of their skills and all this other crap. So we had to get rid of hand checking and stuff because, you know what I'm saying, in the early in the 2000s, early 2000s, those were the lowest scores ever in NBA history. So his reaction to that is to allow more points. The people will enjoy that more. So certain things weren't called travels anymore. Hand checks weren't allowed, and rules started to change where, more points is getting put on the board. And we say in here all the time, at least I know I do, there's more points being scored more than ever. And it is still bad to watch.
Yeah.
I don't want to see 142 to 139. That's hideous.
Yeah.
I mean, no defense was being played, but they're not allowed to play defense. And defense is slowly but surely being legislated out of the NBA, which makes it unwatchable. The level of physicality is they can't do it. They can't be physical. As soon as they get physical, it's a foul call. So best thing is to play Olay defense and try to run back and shoot another three. And so the players, I've seen times where the games get caught, where the games are like they're allowing these guys to be a little bit more physical, and the guys adapted immediately because they were trying to win the game, and then they was playing with the less calls, and it was a competitive game. I've seen it happen in pockets, but overall the theme is call that foul. Guys are selling for the foul. You know what I'm saying? Here comes Austin Reeves again. You know what I'm saying? They're sweeping through. Up there's James Harden. Step back. You know what I'm saying? No travel there. You know what I'm saying? Coming through the lane, trying to wrap somebody's arm. Here's Jimmy Butler trying to wrap somebody's arm, leaning into somebody. It's the same old crap. And I don't want to watch that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, great foul call. Or great job drawing the foul on that. Great job drawing the foul. Fouls are supposed to be accidents from the other team from just trying to play good defense, not because somebody's actually trying to intentionally get a foul call. Like, that's so weak to me. I would never do pump fake, jump into somebody, do that. Like, I would never do that. And the day that, and you know what? I'm sure that's happening at pickups now. Like, these young people, they'll do that when they get in a bind, do a pump fake, make the guy jump, lean into him and call foul so you can, get the ball back. I'm sure that's going on.
Bro, it used to bother me so much when referees rewarded that. I used to yell at the TV every time I saw a guy pump fake, get the defender in the air, and then initiate the contact by jumping into the defender. And the referee would call it. Oh my God. I used to say all the time, like, why are we rewarding rule manipulation?
Exactly.
And the league was complicit in this. Call
Right.
that.
Right.
I hated that with a passion. And that isn't even the rip through. That's
Right.
the rip through is another rule manipulation.
Mhm.
But the whole pump fake, like I just don't like it because the defender is doing what
Their
they're
job.
supposed to do.
Right.
You're defending. If you jump straight up and the offensive player angles their jump into you and you reward that with a foul call, that used to, oh my God.
But they still do that. Not
I
all the time,
know. Yeah,
but they still do that.
Yeah,
man. So hey, I think it's more or less it's a concert of stuff of what got this league in the toilet. And the fact that they can blame streaming, they can blame this, and people cutting the cord. Yeah, NFL ratings are still
exactly
year over year dunking on itself.
Exactly. Nobody want to hear. Ain't nobody talking about none of that stuff with the NFL. No. Ain't nobody talking about cord cutting and all of those other BS excuses. The NFL's ratings get bigger every year. College football gets bigger every year. And their games are on TV too. So are they getting affected by cord cutting? Why is the NBA getting affected by it? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm over it, bro. So it doesn't look like this is going to clean up anytime soon. But I'm glad that the conversation is getting louder to the point where, what I'm saying, the likes of Kyle Horde and what's your boy named Nick Wright, and others are talking about the ratings. Now they're blaming other things and these shadow stuff. The popular thing everybody's jumping on is threes, but there's a lot more than that. There's a lot more than that at play right now. But hey, I'm glad that people are talking about it, and I hope it goes through the absolute dumps. I hope this hits rock bottom. I'm over it.
Yeah, me too. I am too. Speaking on Adam Silver, you mentioned how you look at him, and I don't blame you for that. But you know what they say, like, he's standing on the shoulders of a giant because the actual visionary was David Stern. And so he was David Stern's protege. And so I feel like a lot of what Silver did rode on the coattails of some of the things that Stern established. I feel like Stern was the actual visionary for the NBA. And it just so happens that Silver came after that. So Silver gets a lot of credit for stuff, but I think Silver is just kind of eating off of the foundation that Stern essentially built. I think Stern was the actual visionary.
Agreed.
But I don't think Stern would have been in favor of a lot of this stuff. I don't think Stern would be sending out memos telling referees to call those calls like that.
No, I don't think you would have an in-season tournament.
Yeah, Stern was on the other end, like let them play defense and let the teams figure it out, kind of thing. It's almost like Silver is the liberal socialist, and Stern was more of the fair market capitalist.
100.
Where Stern was like, "Hey, man, I'm giving you opportunity, but y'all figure it out."
Mm-hmm.
And Silver's just like, "Oh, let's let everybody be equal." And it's like, look, life don't work like that. Everything's not equal. Stop allowing these cookie cutter, environments of rule manipulation to persist. I hate it. So I feel you on the Silver thing. But I also think another thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is the media angle. Like when you hear something enough, subconsciously your brain will glean it to be a truth. Like if you're exposed to something enough and you hear it over and over and over and over and over again, after a while you're going to be like, oh, well, this must be what it is. So if you hear year after year after year, no one's paying attention to the NBA before Christmas, you're going to come to believe that. If you hear year after year, it doesn't matter what happens in the NBA until the playoffs, you're going to believe that. If you hear year after year, no one's paying attention until after the All-Star break, you're going to be like, well, why should I tune in? Nothing means anything until after Christmas, the All-Star break. Why do I care? So like I heard that year after year, I heard these people saying this on TV so much that I feel like that's also had an impact.
Absolutely.
And the league did nothing to say, hey, man, watch us. Yeah, it might be a Tuesday night in November, but we got OKC and the Celtics playing. Watch this game. They just let it ride. And so I feel the NBA has no one or nothing rather to blame but itself.
Yeah,
and I do think that it is a whole host of various things going on, not just one. The threes are a part of it, the refs are a part of it. But at the head, it's the way the NBA has managed this situation for sure.
Yep.
And until that changes, the ratings will continue to decline.
And I'm here to laugh at them every second of the way, because they did me wrong. And everybody else that grew up NBA fans are just basketball fans. Because what they're doing to the game is they're bastardizing it. And the thing that we fell in love with is just this Frankenstein right now. And, young kids is doing dribble, step back, tween, and firing threes all damn day. And they don't even know what basketball really is. So, yeah, man. So I'm here for their demise. I love every bit of all of this. So, yeah, tighten up, NBA. God damn, bro.
Yeah. It makes me sad. It gives me no pleasure to talk like this, but I have to say what I feel, and I believe this. And, the best thing that came out of the Lakers hiring JJ Redick was that I no longer had to be subjected to hearing his analytic jibber jabber on ESPN every day.
Jesus.
That was the best. That was the best thing that came out of the Lakers hiring him, was that he can take that BS to Staples Center or whatever they call that place now. He can take that BS out there, and I don't have to be subjected to hearing his points per 100 possession and second spectrum on First Take every day, talking about how the NBA is so much better because the players can dribble and shoot better. Like I'm tired of this.
Win share.
People like JJ Redick have screwed this thing up.
100%.
And he's an agent of this. And whatever you see, the Lakers are trash. So good luck fixing that garbage with your second spectrum and your points per 100 possessions BS.
Yeah, mind the game, bro.
Yeah, right. So the league, good luck, man. I don't know if they'll figure it out. I feel like they're going to continue to lean into this faux pas. Well, not faux pas, but faux innovation. The in-season tournament and all of these various things, fixing, turning the All-Star game into its own weird mid-event tournament with the shooting stars and 3 other All-Star teams, and just hokey, weird sideshow gimmicks. So
that I won't be watching.
Yeah.
So keep it up, NBA. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing all this crap so I don't keep looking at it. And reasonable crash out, Anthony. Normally I'm not, you know what I'm saying? you know, but that's a lot. 75K. They made sure that they made an example out of you. Yeah. But it was reasonable, bro. You said what you said, and he went all the way in because he already knew once he crossed the line, to hell with it. So he made it worth his while.
Yeah, he didn't give. After a while, he didn't give a damn. Yeah, he was saying N words and everything. You know, he ain't give a damn. But yeah, maybe they'll fix it. Maybe they won't. But we'll definitely be here to see how it all unfolds.
Sure.
Yeah, but with that said, we are going to go ahead and close out today's stream. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. JV Wins, Dogon SS. As always, check us out on all applicable channels. Check us out on all the individual video uploads. I am on Instagram at JV Wins, JVWINS. Check out Conscious Approach on Instagram at ConApproach, CONAPPROACH. And if you only tune in for bits and pieces of live stream, we do upload each segment as his own video upload. So check us out there. We certainly appreciate the support. We certainly appreciate everybody hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, leaving those comments. Even if you think I'm simping from Malika Andrews. We are also on Spotify, so check us out there if you want to check out the audio version, you know, everywhere, you know, Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We are also in those places. Check us out there. We certainly appreciate it. To anybody celebrating the holidays, it's not necessarily about whether you are into the Christmas holiday in and of itself, but more so about the time. You know, hopefully you are around loved ones, friends, family, things of that nature. Hopefully everybody's getting some nice R&R, enjoying time off. If you are not, you know, having to punch into a time clock, God bless you for that. What else did I want to say? Oh, as I always like to say, don't be a group thinker. Think for yourself. Have an opinion and a mind of your own, even if it's an unpopular opinion or mind of your own. Embrace diversity of thought. That's what this channel is all about. So until next time, everybody enjoy the holiday. We will catch y'all on the flip side. We will be back. This train is not stopping, so we will catch y'all later.
Yeah. And the name is Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS, on YouTube, TikTok, DraftKings, anywhere there's social medias. Dogon_SS gonna be out there. Go ahead and send me a like, subscribe, or follow, whatever it is you did. And as I say on every pod, guys, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. And I would like to greatly thank everybody that's been hitting the like and subscribe, like JV Wins and I said. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the true MVPs. And shout out to Love My Kids, who left the super chat. Golly. You know what I'm saying? Use the real MVP. All right. I'm about to start crying on stage like my name was KD. All right. You know what I'm saying? Greatly appreciate all the love. And anybody else that would like to do the same, you know what I'm saying, on our next stream. You know what I'm saying? Come holler at us. So I hope you guys enjoyed our winter solstice special. All right, next week, it's going to be a New Year's Eve special. Golly, man, it's back-to-back weeks. You know what I'm saying? So we about to hit you guys over the head again with another live stream that you guys would love to see. All right, so until the next time, guys, more rings than Robert Ory. We'll catch y'all on the next episode. Skrr.
Yes, sir. Everybody, peace and love. Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy the time off. Enjoy the time with loved ones. We'll see you later. Thank you very much. Conscious Approach is out for this week. We'll holla.
Peace. Skrr. Go Cards. Still. Yeah. Man, whatever with the heat, dog.